Since we have, I think everybody's here in the audience, we don't want to delay. So I'm calling the meeting to order, and it is 7 o'clock. Yes, the bell just rang. And we do have a quorum because 3 is the quorum, and so one of our members will not be here today, and possibly we'll have a 4th member, but 3 of us are here. The purpose of the Architectural Review Board is to decide on applications to preserve the character of the historic district of the town of Warrenton on behalf of the town of Warrenton. Decisions of the board are supported by the Historic District Design Guidelines, which provide a framework for consistent decision-making by elaborating upon the zoning ordinance's goal to identify, protect, and preserve the historic character of the historic district and every resource within its boundaries. Each verdict, I still don't like that word, is made within the context of the respective historic resource. Decisions made for an application do not constitute precedent for any future decisions. And I was informed by Ms. Latek that they're still working on the minutes from the last meeting, so we'll have them for review and approval next board meeting. So we'll go right into the new business. COA 22-4, 29 Main Street, new stairwell and awning cover, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Latek for the staff analysis.
Thank you. So 29 Main Street, this is the first application that we use our new guidelines to review, so I'm very excited about it. It is very interesting, so we didn't get as much information from the guidelines as we wanted, but 29 Main Street is right next door. It's Denim and Pearls. They are looking to, they have installed a awning and a cover over the rear stairwell. I call it a cover because it's just lining the handrail, and the awning is a traditional shaped awning. It's a 16 by 4 foot traditional awning, but it's over a lower stairwell connected to existing handrails. So it doesn't protrude from the building. All the language within our guidelines are what you normally see with an awning, where it's attached to the building and it protrudes into a sidewalk or a street or something to that effect. So I'm calling the top part an awning, a cover for essentially this screening of the handrail section. That screen is 22 feet by 3 feet, and they're both a black acrylic fabric, which you've seen multiple times with, it's pretty consistent fabric in Old Town, and then it's using an aluminum frame. This is kind of a rendering of what the awning frame looks like. That's the top one. The cover obviously does not have a frame associated with it, but the frame is 1 by 1 or 1 by 2 inch aluminum tubing. And then this is just a little context of what the existing awnings there are on the building. There's one on the front as well that you saw on that first picture. This is the visibility from the street. You can definitely see it. There's no way that you can't see it, but the material and kind of the design are pretty traditional and pretty standard within the historic district. There was only one thing that I noted in the staff report that might be under consideration, and that's those upper level storefronts. The top awning is kind of blocking those, but it's the bottom part of the storefront windows and doors. So I don't know if that's necessarily concerning. That's definitely up to the interpretation of the board, but I thought I should mention it just in case. The guidelines, all of the materials and the style are pretty in line with the guidelines, but since it's location and it's not on the exterior of the building, it's not substantially detracting from the facade itself. I suggested a motion to approve, just based on it can be removed at any time and it's theoretically temporary.
Okay, thank you. Does the applicant wish to add anything? And if you do, if you could step up to the podium and state your name, please.
T.C. Robinson with Denim and Pearls. We just installed this because once First Street was closed and the farmer's market was there, that's our outtake of the building, so the trash, and it was getting to where it was getting obscene as far as like what you could see during the summer and all that, so we tried to enclose it to preserve the integrity of the building, not for any other reason other than just to keep it from some sight. So when people walking up there to the restaurant can't look at and see the trash. Because that's where everything comes out, the linens and everything come out. That's the only exit part of our building, so
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Okay,
All right?
thank you. And I'll open it up to the board members for questions or suggestions.
The only question I have is,
Ms. Garish? Go ahead.
hi, I'm Virginia Garish. Is that, am I supposed to say that? I'm
No,
sorry.
no, that's fine. I should
Oh,
have just
I'm
said,
sorry.
Chair acknowledges Ms. Garish.
The awning is removable? Is it easily moved?
It is attached in place by self-tapping screws. So the answer to your question is it can be removed, not easily, but it could be removed, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
So it's attached to the permanent, like, I consider the hand railings and where we attach as a permanent structure of the building, because it's encased in concrete, so it's steel bars coming up to make that.
Yeah.
We just attached to that, to, like, aesthetically, it was for
Yeah.
aesthetics. But yes, it can be removed, to answer your question, yes, ma'am, it can be removed in sections.
Okay.
That's how it was brought in.
I guess what I was wondering is if it can be rolled up, rolled back, rolled,
No,
is
ma'am,
it?
it's
Okay.
a permanent structure in that
Got
aspect,
it.
yes, ma'am.
Got it, okay.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
I think it looks nice, quite
Thank you
frankly.
very much. Thank you.
Motion to approve, I move to approve the application for certificate of appropriateness. Did somebody second?
Do we have a second?
Or I guess we do that after. 2021-112 for the proposed awning and cover at 29 Main Street with the following conditions. 1, all necessary permits are acquired. 2, the awning shall be lowered to not impede on visibility of the upper storefronts. 3, awning and screen shall be installed with the least damaging methods. 4, awning and screen material shall be proposed.
I'm sorry, I just have two clarifications. One, the number is incorrect. I apologize, it's 22-4,
Okay.
COA 22-4. And I believe you would like to take out condition 2, that says to lower the awning. That was proposed with my addition, my initial concern, the only concern. that
I
had.
guess I was thinking by lowered, it meant that it was enclosed, or it was,
No, nope, that was
Fully-
based on,
fully
I could,
extended.
I could remove it if that's what the board intended. I'm sorry, I just wanted to clarify that before.
I'm okay with that. What about?
That sounds good. So we would just have the 3 conditions, 1, 3, and 4, is that it?
Yep, I would remove the condition 2, the awning shall be lowered to not impede on visibility of the upper storefronts.
Okay,
I
so
will remove that.
there'll only be 3 requirements or conditions.
Okay. Do we need to repeat that, or is that understood? Just, okay, so do we have a second for the motion to approve with conditions 1, 3, and 4? Mr. Thorson, seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Oh, okay, so it's, the motion is passed, the motion carries. You're good to go. If you want to stay here, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then we have unfinished business, COA 2022-152, 11 South Second Street, amendments to the conditions of approval awarded on February 24th, 2022 to reflect the patio ADA accessibility ramp specifications. Ms. Latex, staff analysis, and then.
So you took a look at this in February. This is 11 South Second Street, cast iron. They, all of the exterior improvements are staying as is. This is coming back for the patio specifications related to the ADA accessibility ramp. Here, again, is the area that the patio is proposed. Patio deck, I'm just going to call it patio now, just to make it all simple. So you saw this in February, but this is the newer portion where it shows where the ADA ramp is going to go. It's at the bottom kind of edge of what you're seeing right here. The ramp is 16 feet long, gradually going up. I think the slope is 112, I believe. And then it goes straight up 8 additional feet into the deck patio area. Materials, again, is going to be wood to match what was initially proposed, and then the addition of wood lattice that will go on the edge of the patio to screen underneath it. And then the railing is 42-inch in height, and it's going to be that black metal cable railing that was approved for the front of the building, I believe. And based on that, I suggested a motion to approve.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Latek, and if you can state your name and anything you want to add, that's
I'm
great.
Wesley Ross, the member and co-owner of Cast Iron Craft House. And we just came back, we had clarification. We were waiting on a survey for the property to make sure that the deck was within our survey boundaries. It was approved last week. So we're back here to just get the deck approved. And so we've come up with the concept that we will run it. It's 24 feet to get the ADA 1x12 ramp. So we are doing 16 feet in the front to a platform and then 8 feet along the wall to get the 24 feet for our 24-inch topper. And we're doing lattice in the front. We're naturally staining everything to match the fence. All the deck and the wood will all match. And what you can see between the deck, from the ramp and the deck, is actually just the black asphalt. So we don't have to hide a lot, thankfully. So we're just doing a little bit of lattice in the front to cover, so you don't see anything below the actual deck itself.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you for the kindergarten drawing. I'm sorry. It's labor shortages everywhere, so I did that myself. So I
All right,
apologize.
well, looks fine to me. Thank you for thank you for coming back, and I'll open it up to board members for any questions or recommendations or anything else. Ms. Garish?
Yes. So the question I had was about backlighting the sign, LED backlight, because I know there have been.
I'm sorry,
That's
since
already
that
been
was
approved.
already approved, I don't think we can discuss that.
It was approved? What's the motion in here?
The
So it's gonna
motion
be
is,
retro?
the motion is to amend with the patio details.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that wasn't
It
clarified.
was
Is
on,
it
it's
just
on
the
here
high-
as number 8.
The yellow highlighted part of the.
Oh, okay, I get it. So it's just the
Yeah, I'm
yellow
sorry, I
that
should have
we're,
clarified that more. Yeah, so
Okay.
this is to amend based on the original condition that the patio would not be installed before coming back to the ARB for final approval.
so backlit signs can be administratively approved?
They were approved by the board.
They were
in
approved by the
February.
board. Okay, sorry, I guess I missed
Yeah.
that.
You were not here that day, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm not crazy.
I was
Okay.
like, wow, I have a whole new set of people today. But yes,
Okay,
you were.
all right, thank you very much. I'm sure it's beautiful. Okay.
But I think if she has a recommendation, we could just make it a
Yeah,
recommendation
we're-
as
we're-
separate from the motion, if,
Well,
you know.
Of
Suggestion.
course, if you're amenable to
Yeah, yeah,
accepting
of
recommendations.
course. Like
I'm
I
just
said at the
saying,
last meeting,
as a process, we typically don't revert back if we're not opening it up to review something new, if that makes sense. But
Okay.
if you
Might as well
would be
take
okay
the
with it.
opportunity since you're here, if you,
Well, my only,
In case.
my only concern was, and you have probably met this concern, as just that there have been signs in the past that have been denied that were, they wanted to backlight, so they weren't able to backlight. And so, within our own guidelines, it states that, it should be a wash of color, a soft ambient color that matches the surrounding lighting, and taking into consideration, things. However, unfortunately, it doesn't say in the guidelines, a maximum of so many lumens for a backlight. It's subjective, but I just wanted to be cautious about, we're moving into new territory when we start backlighting signs, and it could potentially be too bright, but I'm sure it's beautiful.
Yeah, certainly. So we did have that discussion at the February meeting.
Great.
To ensure that it was soft. The building itself is obviously very bright white, so we don't need a lot of lighting to kind of get that reflection from the back. We're just soft lighting our logo only. And it was actually a kind of a big push here because it's mostly just painted signs on the walls and painted art, and someone wanted something a little bit different. And so we felt like it was a kind of a good fit to do a little something
Yeah.
something a little different than what everybody else was doing, but not like, it won't flash forward.
Yeah.
It just is a light like that, like
Yeah.
that soft light in
Yeah,
the back.
beautiful. Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Ms. Barty?
So this is a retroactive thing too, but Millie, I'm not seeing, the first time around, we did a stair. He had a stair coming from the second floor or whatever. And I don't see that in the conditions, but I think that we had approved a wood railing for that. And just throwing it out there, if you would want to try to match that railing with
I think
these
we
new
actually approved
railings.
the same railing.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
I think that
So
would be
the-
better.
The same
but-
railing is throughout the piece. The front of the building, the deck, and the second floor will all have the same railing to match, as
So-
y'all requested.
I'll clarify this as well. I don't think that we approved the railing on the stairwell. You
okay.
discussed the approval of the railing at the front of the building, but you were going to do in-kind replacement of the stairs. That's why it wasn't
yeah.
listed in the conditions.
Okay.
Since it was essentially a replacement in kind. And that was just written in the application itself. We just
Okay.
Well,
revised
if
the
you're
application.
amenable to us doing it all the same, we are amenable as
I
well.
think that would tie in.
That may look
We-
nicer.
We
yes.
like the consistency as well.
Okay, that was really my only comment, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Any other comments or
It's going to be very,
thoughts, recommendations? Okay, hearing none.
You look like you were in deep thought there for a second.
Hearing, okay, Mr. Thorson.
I'm sorry. So the deck's gonna be built on top of asphalt, right?
Yes,
So
a little over half of it. The back half is actually grass. It was never developed back there. So we're leveling it out and building it directly up on the asphalt and grass, yes.
So the front parking court's gonna go straight, that asphalt straight up to that ramp? There's no like planting bed, for instance, on the.
There is on the left side but there is no planting in the front,
Yeah.
no. We'll be decorating
Do
that
something to
make
soften that?
it, to make it nice, yes. And then on the left side of the ramp, if you go, you see where the, sorry, I don't have the pointer. You got the clicker right here? The new fancy one here? Boom. He's. Oh. Anyway, it did not, but yes. You see here where this piece where we're redoing the lift, there's this little garden space here that we're gonna redo. And then the deck actually runs right here in front of it. So we'll be able to do garden here, we're gonna do some gardening on this side, and then we're gonna do plant hangers and stuff like that, kind of soften that.
Yeah, I think that would look nice. Yeah.
So the ramp goes up along the front?
Ms. Barty,
Yes,
yeah,
it
from
goes
left to
this
right.
way and then in along the wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, now I see. Yeah, so
To
possibly
get
putting
our,
some
the
planters
ADA
there might be
requirements
nice.
are long.
Yeah,
So
I
we
know,
had to
it
go
is.
along the wall because it just wasn't enough room in the front. And if we went straight down, we would have been basically in the street, and it would have been a very steep incline because of the way the building sits up top. So we decided to do it sideways, to run it up to a platform and then run it along the wall there. So we don't lose a lot of the deck, and we still get our 24 inches of height.
Because I know you're doing lattice, but the architects in here know it's hard to make lattice look good.
I know.
So.
We're
like
in
doing some, like,
agreement.
shrubs or-
It's a simple, if you have another simple suggestion
No,
to
it-
put in the front, I can even do wood along the front. There really is only a small part on the left side. And then on the right, where the stairs get high, on that platform part, really is the only part you would actually be able to see.
Yeah, there's
So
very
we could-
little, yeah.
We could do, I could do the like wood railing along the, like wood facade along the front to kind of just cover it.
Yeah.
That's fine too. Lattice is the simplest, easiest
Yeah,
part because
sure.
it's really just two pieces basically. Lattice is not my favorite, but it's right now there's a supply shortage of everything, and so lattice is easy to get
Yeah.
and slap up. We've been running across a lot of that lately, so to get us going, to get us started, that was what we opted to go
Well,
for.
I think any like shrubs or even like planters out there.
Yeah, I can
It gives it
totally
more of
do
like a beer
planters.
garden vibe too. It might help,
100%.
So. That's all I have.
Thanks.
Any other
Well,
Ms.
I'm just
Barty?
wondering if we want to add that as a condition, because, you know, when we do fences, we usually kind of ask for it to be softened with some kind of planting, so we might just want to add planters.
So would you like it to say lattice and planters, or would you like the option of either, or what would you like? Vegetation?
I would say like either like lattice or planters, or I'm sorry, shrubs or planters in front of the lattice,
Okay.
where the lattice is located. Like, you
We
know,
could totally do that, no problem.
you know.
We want it inviting as well. It's a
Yeah.
sad parking lot right now.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. That's
So
the
we will
thing,
take,
you know, you want to make it look nice.
yeah, we're gonna 100% do a
And that's
ton
not
of
very-
gardening around
yeah.
the space, because it's huge.
Yeah.
So we will definitely be doing all of that.
Mhm.
So totally fine though, yeah.
Okay.
Any other suggestions or changes? Okay, are we ready to, is someone ready to make the motion then?
I will do a motion.
Okay, Ms. Barty,
I move to approve the amended application for Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 2022-152, for the proposed new exterior improvements at 11 South 2nd Street, with the following conditions as listed, with the addition of the planter. Or do you need me to read them all? Oh, you got it on there? Yeah.
Actually, yeah, could you read them all for me, please? Sorry. Just so we have them on record, the changes.
1 to 16?
No, just the
10 to
highlighted.
14, the highlighted parts.
Patio accessibility shall be as proposed in the May 16th, 2022 amended application. Patio material, or number 11, patio materials shall be wood with black cable railing as proposed. 12, wood lattice shall be installed to shield any visibility below the patio. 13, shrubs or planters shall be placed in front of any lattice to soften. 14, metal cable railing shall be installed in the front patio and side stairwell.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second? Mr. Thorson seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. You've got
Thank you all
your
very much.
ramp. Okay, so we will move to the work session, continuing where we, picking up from last meeting, work session 22-2, 271 Winchester Street, work session to discuss new construction on the property replacing a non-contributing structure that will be demolished. Do you have anything to add, Ms. Latek, or should we just go right into the?
It's a quick introduction of what you looked at before, was just more the shape and the form associated with Winchester. Now they have renderings. That's what I got.
Great. And so, does Mr. Norden or Mr. Leonard Francis, I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from, want to address the, okay, Mr. Norden.
Sure. My name is David Norden, Hinckley Shepherd Norden Architects, and with me is Roy Francis, the head of the building committee for the church. So we're just back to, as we mentioned last month, with our first cut at the plans and the elevations to talk to you all about that and the materials and things. I don't know if you want me to just jump in or if you want to ask questions or jump in. Can you put up, am I supposed to do this from here? I did bring my own pointer. So mine, oops, now mine's not working.
Oh, there.
It just doesn't show up on the screen. Ooh, is that you or me? Okay. Can we go to the plan first, please? So, just so you know from what we're proposing. Do I have to? So, if I can get this thing to work, it's a little slow on the uptake, but this block which is on the Winchester Street side, is what we are proposing to do in stone from that point, and around across the front and back to the entryway. And we're proposing for the rest of the material of the building, at least at this point, because it's a big budget consideration. We're proposing that the balance of the exterior be done in stucco. And I don't assume you all are really interested in the plans. I just wanted to, point that out. So you see, Millie, I'm having trouble with your buttons here, I'm sorry. There it goes. This thing just stops moving. But this is the Winchester Street elevation. So we took into consideration the comments you all made last month about trying to find a way to reflect windows back to the church. And so in that particular side, we have parapets on the ends of that block, which goes back to reflect the church. We added one here and have done window there and on each of the ends that reflect back to sort of the Gothic windows that are on the church. The roof pitch of that main block is 12-12, which matches the church as well, or close. We haven't been up to see exactly, but it's about 12-12. And then the rest of this roof, the big roof here, is at about 8-12, just to get the peak of that block to not be higher than the block of the main Winchester Street side. Again, the entry is here, and that is directly on axis with the church.
Okay, thank you.
So-
Anything else to add before we open it up for?
I think, the site plan that we had last month, and, we showed a roof outline. Of course, this roof configuration is a little different, so I didn't do a new roof plan, but just so you know, if you look back at that site plan, the roof lines won't exactly match what we've done here now, because we've taken that peak, this thing's driving me crazy. That peak, well, it just doesn't move. It kind of has a mind of its own. We've taken that peak all the way through. So just so you know, the lines of the original site plan that we had developed won't match what we're showing you now.
Okay. Ms. Garish, looks like you're ready to say something.
Okay. Hi. Wow, it really is coming along. It looks amazing. It's exciting. I was wondering, the roof material, what were you thinking for the roof material?
We really haven't at this point, to be honest with you. We didn't talk about it, and I don't know. There's obviously a lot of roof on the building, and it would be very expensive to do it in metal.
Standing seam metal.
Standing
yeah.
seam metal versus shingles, and even more expensive to do it in slate, but we haven't talked about it. So I really don't know at this point what we would come back with.
Okay.
If I may say, please, the roof currently is shingle,
Okay.
and I think we would carry that same roof line over to the church, to the parish office building, is my thinking. I don't think we want to have contrasting roof.
Yeah.
You mean the church?
Yeah,
Yes.
That roof on the church is all shingles.
it's shingle.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, all right.
Correct.
And you'll have
Okay.
the
We just replaced part of it.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, and you'll have the flashing done right this
Yeah.
time, as opposed to.
Okay.
Okay.
I was wondering that. And then you mentioned the rest of the building being stucco. And, my building, 7 Main Street, the back end of it on Alexandria Pike is a drive-it stucco, and it's very hard to find people to maintain it. I don't know, I'm sure there are different types of stucco, and I would just be aware that it can be sometimes.
Yes.
Make sure there are plenty of people around that are qualified to maintain it.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
and I would be proposing to do a 3-part conventional stucco anyway, probably, not a drive-it type system.
Yeah.
And that again is in correlation with what's being done on the church. We have a stone face on the front with a stucco in the back.
Nice.
And we would do it the same way in this case.
Thank you.
Okay, can you go to the elevations?
Ms. Barty?
Oh, thank you. I love everything you've got, you're starting to propose here. I've got 2 questions. Do you have any idea of like the height relation to the chapel or the church, and then to what's there? Because the Winchester Street side looks okay, but I'm worried that it's going to be a lot taller. It's hard to kind of gather. Is it a lot taller than the church?
The main roof of this building? No, I don't think it is. I did not try to go figure out what the height of the main church roof was, but the peak of this roof is about 34 feet, 35 feet off of the grade at Winchester Street.
Okay.
So on that side, we're about 35 feet to that peak as you would see it from Winchester Street.
Okay.
But honestly, I didn't try to go figure out what the height of the church roof was. It's so big and it's very steep, so it's very tall.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a slight, the grade at where the building is going to be is lower than the church, so.
Okay.
And the church, I believe, is much higher than 35 feet. It's probably closer to 50 or 40 something, or maybe even 60.
It's up there pretty good.
Yeah, so I think we're okay
But
on
even
that.
if it's the same height, it's going to be lower than the church because of the grade, as Steve has mentioned. There's a very slight slope that comes down. And remember, you also, from the driveway, you walk up 4 steps to get to the plaza of the church, so it's even lower. The ground level is even lower, so that even lowers the building some more and continues to go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to be aware of that because, Winchester Street sits so much higher up, and we've had some issues before with the scale of things, once they actually get built.
Right. Okay.
So, want to keep that in consideration. And then,
I think it's important to note that we want the church to be the emphasis of this piece of property, not this building.
yeah, good. I think that's appropriate. And then I'm just wondering, and this is just my personal opinion, the front entry, if that needs a little more something to kind of grab your attention. But that's just
Yeah.
architect to architect.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, at this level, it's not something that we've given a tremendous amount of thought to, other than we want to have some enclosure, some porch roof over that entry. But yeah, we will definitely investigate that further.
But I like the tie-in to the windows and the parapet facades, and looks good.
Thank you.
I agree with Laura. I think the entrance, if it can kind of have some of that arched, the arch of the church and the parapets here somehow at the entrance might be nice to kind of, it seems like it would match the church entrance more. than if it had that. A question I have is those circular things, are those vents or windows at the peaks of the parapets?
Yeah. Vents, probably.
Okay.
We do have a high ceiling. We were proposing a high ceiling in that upper room. But again, I haven't worked out those details, but the youth center does have a high ceiling, but it's flat in the middle, and those circles would be above that ceiling and
Okay.
would probably be vents from that attic space.
Mr. Thorson, do you have any, you're pondering there.
Yeah, honor. I think it looks really nice too. My only just as I look at it more almost to your point, sir, how you want the church to be the main focus, even though this looks beautiful and architecturally in line with the church, maybe this wants to be a little bit more understated. Instead of having this tension between this left wing that matches the church and this right wing that's kind of a little bit more relaxed and maybe residential looking, maybe do we want to think about eliminating that tension and just make it a little bit more understated? And I say that cautiously because I think it looks really nice, how you've matched the church, especially the Winchester side. But it's just something to consider, just throwing that out there.
Okay?
It would also save money, obviously, too. So if you just did the whole thing,
It would.
I kind of like
May
it the
I-
way it is.
Yeah,
I
may
know.
I speak?
I like the
I'm
way
a
it is, too.
parishioner.
I'm just kind of thinking out loud a little bit. So.
Right.
May I speak?
Okay.
Garish.
Yeah, I think at the last last work session, we actually suggested some of this, and so
I know, I
what
think-
they've done is they've drawn our
Yeah, I know.
suggestions.
It
And-
looks.
Yeah, they look very
beautiful.
nice.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
thank
really
you.
nice.
So another question, not necessarily, I mean, it's partly related to this, but partly picking up on where we were before. And we talked about the grade. Are you going to be changing the grade at all?
No,
Okay.
not to any degree, no.
Okay.
Because,
Is
it drops off.
Mhm.
Come on, Pointer. It drops off back here anyway,
Yeah, that's why I was.
on that low side, and we're using that drop
Okay.
to get what we need in that lower level and get light into that lower level, but
Okay, so that's what I thought, and I just wanted to
Yeah.
get clarification on that was the case.
Right.
Okay. And then how does that affect the discussion earlier about the parking lot there? Because I was looking at it more closely and wondering how it would work if you're not going to change the grade, because the parking lot there, if you were going to use where the building is now, the Para Center, as a extension of the parking lot, how would that occur without a grade change, I guess is my question.
well, I guess right here, along the front of this building,
Mhm.
that grade would be elevated in the theory of doing parking.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're going to change the grade there.
There, we would be changing, yeah. But then, remember, we talked about leaving this long wall and side wall, the stone base of that building to become our retaining walls for the idea of bringing parking over in this area. But then, once you are here, then we have a connecting retaining wall here. It would go back to what we're hoping to use for the original building, and then this area is the low spot on the site. Come on, Pointer.
Mhm.
And we're leaving that pretty much where it is,
Okay.
yeah. And from there, all the way around here is staying where it is.
No change in grade there.
No
Okay.
change in grade, to any significance at least, proposed in that area at all. Because along Winchester Street as well, there are some nice trees out here, and we're going to do everything we can to to keep all of those trees and not regrade that area to hurt anything out there.
Okay. I still think too, picking up on the discussion last time, if it's still possible to keep the other two walls of the foundation there and just put the
Sure.
ground or whatever around it, rather than take those two out, that
Sure.
that might be kind of in the interest of preservation of the foundation, which is the only original part of that building, as you mentioned last time.
Right, sure,
Even though it's going to be covered, it's still there.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Who gives somebody a job in 100 years from now, take down the property?
Anything else?
Are you going to have any, is it going to be easy to get the stones to match the church?
I have no idea. Haven't even begun to get that far into it. Yeah, but I'm sure we shouldn't have too much trouble.
Yeah.
You know, they did a pretty good job matching the wings on the church to the original stone that was there, so.
Yeah, and it looks like it's a stone that's common to the area. Doesn't look like it's coming from
Yeah.
far.
Right, yeah. So I'm assuming that we'll be able to find that.
They did that, Steve,
I did, yes, and
because remember, we did a campaign, people could bring stones in, and they collected stones, and they picked out the ones they could use.
oh, I don't remember
I
that.
mean,
But
it helped, and it gave people a sense of contributing.
Right.
that's good, yeah, and it should be easy. I have a stone house, and we put an addition on it, and the water table is stone, and they actually found the quarry where the original stone came from
Mhm.
nearby, and got the stone from there, and told us all about our stone sills and where they came from as well.
Really?
And everything,
Right.
so
Great.
it should be easy. I think it looks nice. You might have to change the, I saw in the floor plan, I know that's not our purview here, but you know, we're going to have another priest coming, so you only had one room for a priest and the pastor, so we'll probably need to change. I don't know if the other priests, or they're going to switch off or what, but.
Actually, there was on there, there was a parochial vicar and a priest.
Oh, I see, okay,
Yeah.
so you've
We-
got
we
room
have
for
three
three
in
of
that
them
wing.
now. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just following the program they gave me.
Well, they just made the announcement last week that there's going to be another priest coming, so.
Right, yeah.
Just wondering if you've already accommodated that.
That's going to be more crowded in the rectory than it is in this.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all. We'll be back at some point with a real formal application to you, so. Yep, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes the work session. Ms. Latek, do we have any updates?
The only update is that the town council approved the new guide to historic resources, so we are now working underneath a new guideline, which is on the website. I think I sent a link out. If I didn't, I will send a link out. I don't think I did, now that I say that out loud. So we will be working off of that one. It's very exciting.
Bye now.
Thank you. And I think that's the only update I have.
Okay, great. Yeah, and if you're able to track how much use that the new guidelines get, that would be great to find out.
I used it today.
Oh, good. Yeah. I have already gotten a couple of prospective applicants that have downloaded the document and have been using it, so I think it's more user-friendly if people are grabbing it from the internet, so it's a large file, so more power to them, but,
I have one
Okay.
suggestion.
Yes.
Because it was an issue today with printing, and maybe I just didn't see it, didn't do it right or something, but page numbers would be really,
so, yeah, there aren't sequential page numbers for the entire document, they're based on the section.
yeah.
So, and
It's just, and it's hard to figure out which page to print.
That's true, and I think the reason why we did it that way is also because it was created to be digital because it has so many hyperlinks and it's such
Yeah.
a movable document. So I think that's the reason why.
Okay. Well,
Unfortunately.
I learned quickly, it's like, okay, I've got to figure out which section it's in, okay. Yeah. Yes, I can do that too. Okay, all right. But anyway, it's wonderful. Love it.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garish. Just for the notes to keep, so you know who said that. Okay, no, if there are no other updates, board members' time, and maybe we can start this time with Mr. Thorson. Do you have any thoughts or anything? Okay. Ms. Garish?
Nope, nothing. Thank you.
Ms. Barty? Nothing. I don't think I have anything either. That metal roof is still on that house, and I'm hoping that it stays there. And they can have 2 different types of roofs. There's no requirement. There are lots of houses that have metal roof, especially in the front, and then in the back, they have asphalt or some other kind of roofing material. Anyway, that's just my thought. So if there are no other, if there's nothing else, then do we have a motion to adjourn? Ms. Barty moves to adjourn. Do we have a second? Mr. Thorson seconds. All in favor? Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 7:46. Thank you, everybody.